Woke up, took a deep breath, realized I was suffocating from real niggerism. I ain't even have to eat yet. Got a full plate, recognizing they don't recognize my rhythm. Tell the devil he can eat a dick. Real spit, that's lit. I know, cause I'm bugged while he's down on his slugs. Fill his guts with village rust, been eating us lunch fast. 4,795 months, but we finna take over for the 9. Once and for all, glass slipper in the jaw. Later, liberties are trying to gotta kick in the balls. About just cause, every beast has balls or claws. But us can't even call for help. All we have is so-called knowledge of self. Even that's manufactured whole pride is kept. More money, more problems, we acquire more debt. Generational wealth at the bottom of a well. Solitary confinement in a mighty cold cell. In a land which no man dwell. All the violence being felt. Neck harness with a noose whip back full of wealth. From the terror in your eyes to the vision of the youth. Deformed, be born about the C4 units in the city in the drop. That's Nino. Separate your wig from your scalp. That's chemo. Sabi, no weed, no molly. Act bevo, lottie. That Hollywood shit is for the birds. Frankly, I'm really perturbed. Just in anyone served. The people that deserve a hero reserved. And regal immersed. The evil in a place with a race that emerged. Illegal got zero tolerance for ego. Tolerance. I see no progress. Why we so confident? Cold day in hell when this hell freezes over you. The only thing colder is the stare of a warrior. The talent's hella watered down. The truth is always warrior. Endure to the end. Even when it lies in the den and it's time to make amends. Glass ceilings brassing over. My profession is connected with the shot eyes. Yeah, I used to hot box, smacking like some pop rock, running like a stopwatch. Everything top notch when they want a hopscotch flip flop. Listen like some titties out of crop top. City on clock. Nigga know what nigga talking patois. Everybody back off. 3, 2, 1, finna blast off. Drop a bitch, how they do it in a dance hall. WWE on the freak, J Dez want the beat, so it's always eat. No, we always eat good. Fleetwood making out of each hood. Holy is the priest, superior to preachers, fucking blood and drink. But the condition of my people, he's an emo for religion. Any alternate opinion is an enemy of God. Been raped, robbed, murdered, forgot. With a victim mentality, we created a facade with the makeup on. It's a bruise, barrage, abused by the blase vibe. This is all they folk, this is all they folk. By they, I mean white folk, Caucasians, cavemen. The synagogue of Satan is a fine dog, blazing. I'ma stroke it in the mind. I was high to the slaying niggas going Super Saiyan, growing beards. It's amazing. Go to church, that's big and that cost that hangman, a cranium for maintaining all dethroned. But to break that mold, I rip the soul out with a switchblade. Let it know not to be bitch made. You'll find out on this day. It's the Lord's battle, so shit take. A cold day in hell when this hell freezes over you. The only thing colder is the stare of a warrior. The talent's hella watered down. The truth is always warrior. Endure to the end. Even when the lies in the den and it's time to make amends.
Playing on this track right here now. It's a full-grown man right here.
We can't, no cowards, no excuse, you understand?
As you understand.
It's an event every time we come through. Commanding General Your Honor and his heavy hitting crew. Real niggas with an attitude. How about you? I repeat, real niggas with an attitude. How about you? The Chronicles of the King, 69 to the present. Hardcore Nazarenes, we ain't never been the peasant. Like the ghetto was a present, holding everything blessed in the Most High's present. His silver and gold is precious. They thought it was effervescent. Get in class, learn your lesson. Out the belly of the beast will increase. At least observe the feast of Yahweh. Eat some lamb, make connections. He's a little sanctuary, no question. We ain't ever been crabs in the barrel. This is life under Pharaoh. From a lifestyle apparel to walk in the straight narrow. More right than your average barrel for the price of a sparrow. Using practical knowledge, not just an arrow. This is ice in the mirror. They cutting us like the grass. Keep plugging us out the past. Yeah, punish us out the ass. I tell my people that love them about the criminal justice, about the past. Then we stuff in the ego. These vultures are evil. Just look at what they done to our people. Covered up the face of the judges with paint on for easel. I be meditating terrorists and deliver my keynote. UPK, we cock diesel. No cowards forever. We go while you use us like we bringing back the Lord's nation. With much long suffering, the camp is in concentration. In spite of the correlations, they faggots in formation. They be taking and evil. We got the stage and invasion. We got the streets in a rage. Once the priest hit the pavement, vengeance from the Lord is the white man pavement. The prophets of Yahweh ain't nothing to fucking play with. Some of you gone lukewarm, my niggas stay lit, y'all complacent. We stay spitting yoga fire in your faces.
freeing the flock of the slaughter from out of this matrix. The definition of racist is believing you're on top, and as a matter of fact, we got that position on lock. It shouldn't come as a shock. Yasha Allah won't stop when we come back to our power. Who wanna walk with the bomber glide? We keep the summer hot, winter on icicle. You get that spiritual power, ain't gotta buy a pistol. Ripping bodies, caught by the gristle. No harm, you're struck by a missile. You serve Yahweh, you're invincible. Gotta be one of the 12 tribes of Israel, a nation under God, indivisible. Our power is critical, from analog to digital. We coming back. UPK ain't running, but we running that. Pay your tithes with that money, yeah. Put on the dummy hat, thinking it's cool. We're not hosting an intergalactic character. We're torn, erased up one of his people for rulership. UPK gon' be ruling shit. Yahweh Shah is ruling with an iron rod. The only dialogue is kind out of one kind. You don't like it? You could die a fugitive and vagabond. Me, I'ma have cattle and a catalog of slaves. Tell the nations get in shape. Otherwise we do nuking them. They gonna build Jerusalem. Christians would call it safe. You can call it what you want, but them roads better be gold paved straight out of these old caves. 1,000 years for sick, picking cotton, no shit, finger pricking, blood dripping from all the thorns. I'll be keeping the bench warm. You've been warned before they disappear. You've been warned.
Outside, you in the crib, but the boy outside, I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside, so when the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the boy outside, I get it on outside. That's a definite, cannonball, wrecking shit, excellent. Rhyme Barack and bombing like the president. I remain strong, King Kong with the prevalence. I show you exactly what we do, that's how I represent. Hardcore, heaven sent, chain on, hella bent, throwing all black when they spot me like the leopard print. Oh, I got the braids in, shades on, made men, cause we put in work to stop the till they change in. Walk strong, talk heavy, hold my own. You rock solid, well, we bout to leave the sword, the stone. Nigga, we warriors, hardcore, tracking the pride. To let the Hebrew speak, nigga, general eyes. And we talk to super heavy, nigga, that's the surprise. With all scripture, street talk, word to Captain the Kai. Nigga, we blazing, ripping the mic with all facts. Doing the knowledge to the max till we cracking the pavement. UPK, out of one West Harlem, nigga. We spring forward and they falling like it's harder, nigga. Talking to all them niggas born in the mud. If you ain't feeling this, you call them plug, and that's real. Oh, I get it, cat tie, or they not of my kind. I get the order, then it's handle kind, not the one kind. Without a doubt in my mind, I'm finna stop and recline. Anybody that come against us, they should probably resign. It's a war going on outside, no man to safe from. I hate these niggas throwing shots, but can they take some? Christ says, sell out your garments to get a sword now. I'ma go and sell off these polos to get a fall down. Damn sure ain't started the war, but I'ma end it, cause the spiritual war could turn carnal any minute. I remember riding back in the days, window was tinted, but Salaki, I'm done with that carnal shit, I repented. And they bomb-proof the booth every time I'm about to go win it. You ain't know this shit, I live for this truth, and I'ma defend it. And I get my second wind just as soon these niggas get winded. It's a war going on outside, I'm jumping in it. It's a war going on outside, you in the crib, but the boy outside, I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside, so in the morning outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside, my sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside, I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the boy outside, I get it on outside.
Nobody's safe, it's a war out here. If you pussy in the streets, you a whore out here. See me all suited up in my fallout gear. 762, flip your fucking car out here. No burner, I still a break your jaw out here. No fear, if you scared, get a motherfucking pit. Or sit up in the church, you a motherfucking bitch. I give you in the verse what I give you in a clip. It's 32 rounds of fire, it never quit. A lot of fuckery going down, so what's the purpose? Sick of hanging around these clowns. clowns get out the circus. If you cross that line, then you get lit up. The worst is all black hearses, tinted with black curtains. Docs on site with medics and mad nurses. Leave us out your verses. You don't want that kind of war, ready for that bullshit. Kinda like a matador. Get this kind of focus, you gon' need some Adderall. Something just to lock you in behind them padded walls. They say I got some screws loose, and that's true. Don't let me let them wolves through like it's a full moon. It's like I transform the booth to a war room. Come up with a strategy, maximizing your calories. Courage of King David, battling like the Maccabees. Find out who you think that nigga walk to him casually. Then proceed to bar his life away rapidly. Take a knee for your majesty, take it, they hate it savagely. I try leaving rap alone, but I guess that this had to be. Keep you grounded like gravity, in the field, but it's amity. Horror, I see calamity, scar you up with my family. Mumble rappers be mad at me, fuck them up in their faculty. They words sweet, sit in their mouth and causing cavity. Yeah, it's a war, but none of you suckers worry.
It's a war going on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside. From the dusk to the dawn outside. So when I'm on outside, I'm catching wreck when they drawing outside. Cause it's a war outside. My sword drawn outside. This Excalibur, you better be all outside. Cause it's a war outside. I get it on outside. You in the crib, but the war outside. I get it on outside.
Take a second, we reflecting with the life, but this the life, I fucking love it. Wouldn't trade it to be white, now that's alright. I got the right at birth, the devil's redefining work.
Someday you'll pay the price.
No, I don't break a fold, I need and bake the dough, then recreate the flow. They think they making dough, what they forsake is so essential. Over lentils, get your issue. Guess who's on this instrumental with you? Gives a damn if we was family, view one bread and call it spam. I'm not a fan of Antichrist, they slayed the man, I swayed the Tim like here I am, the son of Sam is taking shot to David Berkowitz. Pussy.
Someday you'll pay the price.
A different discipline existed than this New York state of mind. They say it's not, no, not the actor, but the year he's effort. Not one thing in mind to grind until this gavel turned his words to mirth from Babel. Lines of 69, I follow protocol. This kingdom built on guy bones, so I can't love Esau, and I can't fuck with y'all. I ain't gotta say it twice, you vouching for the enemy, but
someday you'll pay the price.
look, my father ain't have a father cause of dope. I'm anti-politics cause Christ died from a vote. How the richest nation locked the homeless up for being cold. How ironic they relating, smoking weed to getting stoned. You trim your ways and seek they love. I'ma bring this sword back wet with a vest dipped in blood. Niggas giving up when they don't even give enough. Going nowhere fast, niggas always in a rush. I give them love cause my brothers lost. Christians eating, watch they brothers starve. No way I can serve another God. I give my love cause my brothers lost. Christians eating, watch they brothers starve. I can't serve another God. Cold-blooded.
You know that you are. As cold as ice to me.
One West, 125th Street. Look, y'all put y'all faith in presidents like they gon' change this country. Run the league and let y'all play cause y'all gon' make 'em money. Fuck Obama, he ain't come here on cargo slave shit. What the fuck he do for blacks in his administration? I'm waiting, patient like a saint. Black, Hispanic, Native, they hate your ass the same. Paint Christ in they image, paint you as a slave. God ain't all love, scriptures say he hate. African soul niggas, they know we not the same. School to prison pipeline to get you off the streets. Put you in the cell toilet connected to the sink. Molested as a kid, she prostituted as a teen. The byproduct of Martin Luther King dream. They just took the yoke off, my nigga, we ain't free. We living bleak in these wastelands of poverty. If you don't know the truth, then the lie sound promising. Prophecy, gift and the curse. Dylan started killing, they was sitting in church. Black folk forgave him, man, this shit is absurd. You should never love your enemy, that shit ain't gon' work. Yeah, fuck dying on your knees, you better die in glory. Man, I joined the UPK, taught me the art of warring. I took a nigga life like mine to be recognized. I feel that pain every day, it can't be reconciled. Pops banging, my sister a prostitute. My brother got life, and somehow I still found the truth. War ready, no cowards, no excuse. Fuck reparations, you can't banish no open wounds. Blood on the leaves, body swing hung from a noose. I was on a run in Nashville and I found the truth. I called the school, classes being held by the shock on my life. I want to be a gangster like a cop. Do this for my brothers, real brotherhood. Everything we do, we got it out this book. My nigga, I can never be no African. UPK the only authorized acronym. I'm passionate about my brothers and sisters. We in hell, I ain't got nothing against them. That's another religion. If it ain't under your honor, ain't he murdered by them and got a hug from your honor. That's the way out for a coward in my observation. They don't fear the Lord, they indoctrinated. Wolves in sheep clothing, Joe Osteen. Real priests bringing back black royalty. One West on my headpiece, rank and order. Can't let them trick me off the streets, I gotta raise my daughter. I got brothers at the border ducking ICE agents. I got the name change, it was life changing. My family thought it was a game, put on all black, they said I was going through a phase. It's more of us in jail than it was slaves. Chose by the Lord, we could never be the same. Soon as they born, the wicked go astray. They left the truth, they wasn't with us anyway. Niggas weak, they just saying anything to be truthful. We don't want no cowards anyway. Look, coronavirus, that's a plague. You don't get too much sleep when you waking up the dead. First camp, I cut off all my dreads. I took an oath when that oil hit my head. Niggas capping like they lids. I'm a priest, I never stick no fork in no pig. I was dead till I found out how to live. This brotherhood taught me how to be a man. I came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. Came back to my roots, I had to dig. A couple gaps I had to bridge. I got a rib, I'm married to this work. You wanna serve the Lord, he ain't in the Christian church. One West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under Commander General Yohana. The only authorized acronym. Look, Christianity, the home for white supremacists. The real Jews, black. Jesus Christ was a nigga. We scholars in the scriptures. Fuck your false doctrine. I'm a gangster, I can't go to church, they false prophets. I face the east and pray towards the sun. Fuck your peace and I don't need your love. I'm gonna have slaves when the kingdom come. I see my adversaries teaming up, but they ain't ready for war. And if they is, we gon' bring it to them. Thumb through the pages, reading Obadiah. Look, white man the devil, he for sure a liar. Can't trust the snake, Jesus called them vipers. How you love everybody when we the ones dying? I'm bloodthirsty, pray my enemies drop dead. Don't do nothing God say, but won't forget us for they sins. Niggas hypocrites, I just want slaughter and revenge.
Oh, no sweat, no sweat. All right, Shalom, Lord in Christ. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohana. And we have been, called to teach so-called Blacks, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans that we are the children of Israel. We're about to go into our lesson soon. I'm just going to give a little bit more time. We are working out some technical difficulties with our soundboard, but it looks like we're up and running. But I'm going to give a little bit more time so we can, get your pen, your pad, and we'll be right back with you after a couple of moments. And we're going to get it on tonight. All right.
This truth is my everything. When we ain't Christian, we'll fall on your ass. Plus, you know we keep the metal things. How you want to settle things? I suppose you'll take the proposal. We'll make that metal ring with the Glocks of the hecklers. We some righteous ass brothers, but some certified steppers. We some priests at the end of the day, so we teaching in the streets till the end of the day. We on the front line. We the ones that you want in the game. Fourth quarter when it's crunch time. And all my brothers is clutch. Squad full of silent killers. We ain't talking too much, but we'll teach you if you're humble. Just learn to follow orders, don't mumble. Get it done. And he that have an ear, I pray listen. Yeah, we want all of the smoke. We ain't Christians. This the life of a priest that we go in the streets, and we teach the Jews. Fresh braids in my head, fresh boots on my feet, and we keep the jewels. Whole squad of real niggas, we some certified killers, and we got the tools. Nah, nigga, we ain't Christian, ain't shit sweet, you musta got us confused, got us confused. Got us confused, got us confused, got us confused, got us confused. Nah, nigga, we ain't Christian. Got us confused. We nothing like the mother niggas. We ain't the same. We some righteous ass, hardcore, rugged niggas. And it's a shame that you full of pride. We don't affiliate with none of you clowns. Plus these heathens getting nullified. Just the life of a priest and a prophet. Fake niggas be cautious. Words flow, truth drip like a faucet. The righteous stand bold, I'm in line form. Cry a loud voice cutting through a quiet storm. Like King Ty with the fire bombs. It be smoke when we drop the cannons. No Viacom. The home of the truth, we don't play around. Hide the women and the liquor when we taking ground. Living in hell will make the best of it and endure through the rest of it to the end. And you ain't gotta listen if you choose, as long as you don't get us confused. We not Christians. Just the life of a priest that we go in the streets, and we teach the Jews. Fresh braids in my head, fresh boots on my feet, and we keep the jewels. Whole squad of real niggas, we some certified killers, and we got the tools. Nah, nigga, we ain't Christian, ain't shit sweet, you musta got us confused, got us confused. Got us confused, got us confused, got us confused, got us confused. Nah, nigga, we ain't Christian, got us confused. Just the life of a priest that we go in the streets, and we teach the Jews. Fresh braids in my head, fresh boots on my feet, and we keep the jewels. Whole squad of real niggas, we some certified killers, and we got the tools. Nah, nigga, we ain't Christian, ain't shit sweet, you musta got us confused, got us confused. Got us confused, got us confused, got us confused, got us confused. Nah, nigga, we ain't Christian, got us confused.
All right, shalom, Lord in Christ. The water to those who are, watching. That's also in the chat. We got your car. Shalom, Yahweh Shemal Thumba Shini Awashai. Checking in from OTR. Appreciate y'all checking in. So tonight's class is a topic that me and Ka'ash are actually talking about. He'll probably, go into it as well, with part 2, because it's a big thing that's going around. And we're going to get into it because right now, social media is something that captivates the masses, no matter who it is. I see people that are old, people that are young on social media, and the things that are on there, they go viral. And viral means something that just spreads, very fast to a lot of different people. And one of the things that, as you can see with the title, is we listen, but we don't judge. But our title is we listen and we do judge. Exactly. Because if you're a person that's supposed to be, a follower of the Most High in Christ, you should be able to judge a matter. Now, we're going to get into that. I'm going to go to, let me go to, if I could, we will go to, let me go to Exodus chapter 18 and verse 3. We'll start there for the verse. If you could just hold that for me, I'll give a little bit more dialogue on the subject. So back to the social media thing. Right now, there is a lot of different things that are on social media, and it's contrary to what we should be doing. And unbeknownst to a lot of us, it is social engineering. I bet you, and I've said this before, I bet you later on, we're gonna see, documents that are revealed that the FBI or CIA or one of these alphabet agencies took a large part in promoting certain things on social media that hurt the Black community. Because there's always something that happens, to us that comes from outside of us, and we end up following. Right. Whether it's drugs being put in our neighborhood, whether it's us being given Planned Parenthood, whether it is just anything like hundreds and thousands of smoke shops popping up in urban neighborhoods or around urban neighborhoods. These are things that are meant to hurt us, that is coming outside of us. But it has to be our choice after we become conscious of this to go ahead and leave it alone and walk with the Most High and not walk with the devil that's presenting it to us. Exactly. So let me see if I can find it. I did send it to myself, but I wanted to play a little bit of audio, from the subject of what we're talking about, because it's not too many times you're going to hear things like this, from somebody. Well, you're never going to hear something like this from somebody that has a sound mind and is aware of how detrimental it is. Because we listen, but we don't judge is something that's not a moniker we should take up. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. I see everything but that. Let me go ahead and just pull it up. And while I'm pulling that up, if you could just, if you have a chance to read Exodus 8 and 13. 18? Let me see. Matter of fact, you said 18. It would be 8:18, but let me see. 18 and 13. Let me see where we want to start. Let's start with, we'll start with 13. 18 and 13, sir? Yes, please.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people.
So right here, you have Moses sitting to judge the people. Moses is not an angel. Moses is not God. Moses is a man. Moses is a man, and he is sitting and he's judging the people. But if I could, since we got that, we're going to go right back to it. Let me see if I have the actual video, because I did save it. But let me go ahead and play this. This is what me and Ka'ash had a conversation about.
I had like 8 abortions in total.
So this is a video, and the young lady says, I had 8 abortions in total. You can hear the sad music that they're playing in the background, because it's something that's so ridiculous. 8 abortions in total. you're catching bodies. Like you are literally unaliving an actual human being when you do that. I can't put it on the camera, but I'm literally looking at the dismembered bodies of young children who never got to take their first breath because of this type of mentality that's been put in the Black community. And it came outside of us. Let me go ahead and play that one more time.
Like 8 abortions internal. I had 2 abortions this year.
One more time.
I had like 8 abortions internal.
So 8 abortions in total, and the other girl says 2. Between them, that's 10 abortions. That's 10 lost lives. Let's go ahead and they're saying we listen, but we don't judge. It's like, hear what I'm saying, but anything that I say, you can't judge me for it. I don't want to be held accountable. Let's listen to what Moses has to say and what's happening as far as his duties as a man of the Lord.
Come on. Exodus chapter 18 and 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people?
So Salaki, I should have jumped in there, but it said he sat and he judged the people. So the people are coming to Moses and they're bringing matters to him. So what these young ladies are doing is they're not bringing the matters to somebody who can give them the right answer, who can judge the matter of what they're doing. They're taking it amongst their peers. And they're trying to absolve themselves of responsibility for what they've done. But if, like, let's say that there was a man involved in this situation, and that young lady says, I've had an abortion, and that man and that woman can go before Moses and he can judge whether or not she should have. Let's say the man didn't want to have an abortion and the woman took it upon herself for whatever reason. She wanted to, pursue a career in whatever career field they had back in the day. She wanted to keep her figure. And he's like, what you did was wrong. And she's like, no, I got rights to do what I want. This is my body. Her and that man can go to Moses and he can judge the matter. We're not supposed to be in a situation to where we're absolved of all responsibility of our wrongdoings. We're also not supposed to be in a mind state to where we don't even know the difference between right and wrong. Because we're in a situation to where social media makes it to where there's no type of morality that even makes sense in this world nowadays. Like nothing. And the people that present this to us are the same people that would lock Mexicans in cages. Exactly. They're the same type of people who would help the Ukraine and help the Jewish, but they won't help us, the people that help build this country. And invented damn near everything today that helps operate in this modern world. So what we need to do is we need to stop listening to the people who put this type of mindset on us, because being able to have such free will, not even free will, but being so careless with, our bodies and our children is something that has been given to us by our oppressor. We can continue to read that. No sweat, take your time. And if I could real quick, I'm gonna play that one more time. And I wish I could show her face on what she looks like.
Okay, you can send it to me. I'll probably pull it up.
All right, no sweat. I'm gonna send this to you. I'll send it to your I don't know if I can send it straight to your phone, to your
that works.
Okay, no sweat. I'll send that to you.
It's faster.
All right, cool.
I had like 8 abortions internal.
And I'm not even gonna say the facial expression that she's making.
I had 2 abortions this year.
Now I won't be playing the videos of the couples, but there's even couples who are going around doing this, and this started before this. There were people who would say things on camera like, "What's the craziest thing you've ever done? What's the nastiest or the freakiest thing you've ever done?" And it would be a no judgment type of response. And the people would say some outlandish stuff that I can't even repeat on here. And they were actually shameless. You found it?
I got it. I got to send it to my
All right, no sweat. No sweat. So while you get that, I'm gonna go ahead and start from the beginning. Exodus 18 and 13. The book of Exodus, chapter 18 and 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from morning unto the evening. Now, these people, they did a lot of wrong things in the process after they left Egypt and before they got to the promised land and ended up in that desert, in that wilderness. But one of the things they did right was go to Moses with the judgments of their problems on what should happen. We are a judgeless society in the fact of the actual morality that we should follow, we don't. We do every single wrong thing in the world. And that's why we have the type of society that we have today. I see different things that are out in the world. And then because we have a judgeless society, you have people, even Chris Brown, making comments and videos on, Facebook saying you got to be careful who your friends are because this, that, and the fourth. Because you can give people this and they won't give, you can give them all your money. The minute you say no, they're going to turn their back on you, talk about you behind your back. That's because you didn't have a person to judge over your life and impart any wisdom, because the scriptures say, before you really call, and I'm paraphrasing, before you call somebody your friend, you have to prove them first. You have to test them. They have to earn your friendship.
Exactly.
That's the same thing with a wife or a husband.
Abortions in total.
You should prove those individuals. Sister House got the video. We're going to go ahead and play it.
I had like 8 abortions in total.
I had 2 abortions this year.
They're just saying it matter of fact with a smile on their face after catching 8 bodies.
Like 8 abortions in total.
And not like she said.
I had 2 abortions this year.
Yeah, but she's smiling so hard she's not even correctly pronouncing the word. 8 abortions. She put the day
like
over
8 abortions in total.
20. And you had 8 abortions.
I had 2 abortions this year.
Yeah, what abortions does to a woman's body is bad anyway, because there's certain hormones, and we're not coming at sisters' necks who are doing this, because you have men out there who are convincing and taking sisters to the clinic to get the abortion, but it's the wrong thing to do. Right. That child does not deserve to be unalive because you were irresponsible in your bedroom, because you decided to use, I can't even use the correct word, but it's the M word. And I don't want to get us banned, but you want to use unaliving as a contraceptive. Birth control. Yeah, you want to use taking a child's life as birth control, which is outlandish. That's not what we should be doing. We're gonna come back to Moses in a second in Exodus 18 and 13. But I want to read something. Let's go to let me skip down, because right now a lot of people to response into what I'm saying, they'll say something like, only God can judge me. That's right. That's what they would say. They would say only God can judge me, when that's contrary to what the scriptures say. Let me get Matthew 7. And what verse we gonna start at? Let's start at 7. I believe it's Matthew 7 and 3, so we can see where they falter. Because all you have to do is just read the scriptures in its entirety and get the wisdom from people who actually know the scriptures. The ISUBK know the scriptures. And if I can just get a quick sidebar, you have a lot of fake Israelite groups, and the reason why I'm calling them fake Israelite groups is because of what happens within their ranks. You have, what is it, Sakari? So you got Sakari, who, if he had a song out right now, it would be called Cuck If You Buck. Salakia. Cuck if, instead of Nuck If You Buck, it would be Cuck If You Buck. because Sakari apparently was involved with what's called, and forgive me, it's called a cuckold. And I learned about this through hearing about Will Smith and his wife's relationship. And what that is when a man wants to see another man sleep with his wife. And apparently, Gorilla Hebrew is being accused of hiring, what was it, white men? On Tinder to sleep with his woman. And as well as that, it gets worse. Young man, matter of fact, you go back outside real quick so I can get this out real quick.
Got you.
I'm gonna have, I don't want my, my little one exposed to this.
Nasty work.
He also ordered a dildo.
Yep. Crazy work.
So that same woman that he was offering, supposedly, allegedly offering up to white men, the same woman could peg him.
Crazy.
So don't go to fake Israelite groups for judgment. Because I'm going to read why, because these people are hypocrites.
Absolutely.
So that's what the Most High was talking about. It's not only God can judge him. You have to have somebody that's actually righteous, not somebody who's a cuck, not somebody who, has a wife named Peggy, but somebody who is going to stand tall for the Most High. That type of person. Because you can't really judge matters if you're taking part in a sinful life yourself. You can't really do that. You got to step away from that. You got to actually be reborn. That's what the scripture is talking about. That's why you have people misinterpreting the scriptures, and you have young women who, like I said, don't look a day over 20, saying that they had 8 abortions or 2 abortions. And Salakia, let me just make sure I got this camera straight while we get this verse. If I could, let me get Matthew 7 and verse. Let me see. Where should we start? Yeah, we'll start with 1, because this is where people get it. Like, I even had a conversation with one of my family members, one of my young family members, my little sister. And I was telling her, like, look, man, you got to cut this out. You can't do this and you can't do that because it's wrong, and the Most High don't want. Negro, who are you to judge me? You ain't God. Only God can judge me. And I'm like, yo, that's not how it goes. Let me go ahead and fix this camera real quick.
Khan. This is Matthew chapter 7 and verse 1. Judge not, that ye be not judged.
Hey, man, you can't judge me. The scriptures say, judge not, that ye be not judged. If you judge me, you gonna be judged. That's what the scripture's saying, right?
Exactly.
That's what it's saying. So apparently we listen, but we don't judge. That mentality comes from this verse. But let's read to get the proper understanding, so the scripture isn't to our own destruction from our misunderstanding. Continue.
For with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged. And with that measure ye meet, it shall be measured to you again.
If you measure somebody off of what they're doing, but you're doing something wrong, then you're going to be judged. That's a hypocrite to do that. Let's continue to read so I can prove my point.
Verse 3. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye?
You can't tell brothers and sisters to put down the pork. If you have something rubber, we'll stop right there, but you know where I'm going with that. You can't tell brothers and sisters that they can't eat seafood if you hiring people to escort your woman to the bedroom so you can watch. You can't do that.
Absolutely not.
Let's reread that verse one more time.
Matthew 7:3. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye?
Why are you looking at what they are doing as far as sin? Continue.
But considereth not the beam that is in thine own eye.
You got members in the group that are literally calling out Gorilla Hebrew for what he's doing in Sakari, but they are sleeping or have slept allegedly with the members of their brothers' wives.
Yeah.
But yet you want to point out what Gorilla Hebrew is doing, but you want to judge. So you want to take and be just like the Pharisees and just completely botch up what it is to be an Israelite. And then you want to wonder why Commanding General Yohana said we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group, because you're a nut, and because you can't control your lust, and because you're judging people, but you don't even know how to not be a hypocrite and stop the sin that you're doing. Let's continue.
Verse 4. Or how will thou say to thy brother, let me put out the mote of thine eye?
Let me give you counsel on what you should stop doing. Continue.
And behold, a beam is in thine own eye.
But I'm asleep with somebody else's wife, all while I'm trying to minister unto you and give you the information on how what God wants and what you shouldn't be doing. But yet I'm still living a life that the Most High does not want me living. Verse 5.
Thou hypocrite.
Thou hypocrite. You can't be a hypocrite in this work.
Exactly.
You got to sit your ass down somewhere and let the real men that do the work of the Most High actually fix the people. Or else you just going to further destroy black people. You don't want to get somebody to the point where they believe what's in these scriptures and they got it from you. And now all of a sudden they can see that the person that delivered it to them is a cuck. The person that delivered it to him is an adulterer.
Right.
The person that is delivering it to him is living a homosexual lifestyle. Because there's more, like, if you're engaging in that type of activity, as far as the cuck and the pagan and all that, that is homosexual.
Absolutely. 100%.
There's even reports that are saying that a brother is literally leaving a high holy day to go hang out with his homosexual friend and spend the night. Man, put the work of the Most High away from your lips, because that's not what you're doing. You are a hypocrite. Let's start again at verse 5.
Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye.
That's why some of these fools can get on the internet and say, yo, can't judge me.
Exactly.
Like, only God can judge. Because of people like you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why some people can get on the internet and say we listen, but we don't judge. Right. Because they don't have anybody that they can look at and see as a righteous judge over their life. We may not remember the pastor's name, but do you remember that pastor that was gathering all that money up and his church ended up getting robbed? You remember that brother's name? It was he has a wild name in New York too.
Wild name. You know what it starts with?
I can't remember, but there was this pastor that was in New York. And instead of helping the poor and using the donations and the tithes from the church, he's buying himself all the amenities that a rich man can absolutely have. And when people see that type of stuff, they can go, man, you can't judge me. Man, look at what this pastor's doing. You can't judge me. The pastor is sleeping with the deacon's wife. Right. You can't judge me. The choir director has a boyfriend. You can't judge me. The pastor has a first husband. Yes. You don't remember I had brought that out? A pastor had a first husband?
Was it a man? Like,
yes.
I vaguely remember.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. They think it's Adam and Steve.
Oh shit.
Not Adam and Eve. This is what's happening in a world to where they're giving you the do as I say and not as I do. That's what they're giving you.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No sweat.
Nah, because what you bring out is heavy. You know what I mean? Because I was thinking about this whole situation, and myself, I said to myself, you know what I mean, like these Israelite groups and these churches, they all have one thing in common. They're all gay. And you know what I mean? And it just proves like everybody is gay outside of the ISUBK. You know what I mean? They all fall for the world's trick still.
Good night.
And they all have sex with each other's wives and stuff. Like everybody's still passing each other around. There's no real change being, and this is why they really hate us. You know what I mean? That's why they really hate us.
And if I could further add to your point, there are so many Israelite group members that are outside of the ISUPK that have to come to us for counsel because they know what's going on inside of their organization is absolutely wrong. Let's get verse 5 one more time from the top.
Habakkuk. Matthew 7:5. Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam of thy own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye.
If you could see me, please. Wow.
Verse 6.
If you could read verse 5 one more time.
Habakkuk, verse 5. Thou hypocrite.
Now, hypocrite, calling somebody a hypocrite back in the day, Salakia says, it's right there. Yeah, calling somebody a hypocrite back in the day was an incredible insult.
Right.
That was an incredible insult. Think of the worst thing you can say to somebody, and then that's what Christ was. These are Christ's words. He says, thou hypocrite. Continue.
First cast out the beam of thy own eye.
First take away what you're doing against the Most High. When you are transgressing, throughout it says, when you are transgressing against the Most High, continue.
And then shalt thou see clearly.
How can you judge a matter if the demons that are clouding your vision are still on you? You don't have a clear perception of what should happen or how a matter should be judged. That's why these other Israelite groups make all types of mistakes with their judgment. That's why the Christian church makes terrible decisions with their type of judgments. That's why the world, even in the justice system, makes all types of errors when they make a judgment. You got it. And then if you could afterwards, if you could read it from the top, I appreciate you.
And what since you bring out is heavy, and this is why, because we need stuff like we. I'm not saying we want to have this kind of exposure for our other brothers and sisters, but it's good for us because it makes the ISUPK and to the world like we are the truth now.
It shows a difference between.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because we you can never catch General Yohana with this action.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can't catch Captain Tazariak.
If I could, Salakia, the same fools that were coming at the general when he was imparting wisdom to the people about just small things, coming at his neck about stuff, are the same people who are engaging in these freaky activities. Right. That's why they can't make a judgment on what the general is doing, because what they have going on in their life is clouding their judgment. Right. You mean to tell me the general is not doing nothing wrong? You can't see that? He's trying to help people out. And mind you, I believe they had a problem about the vaccine. So I'll let you finish it. I'm gonna get right back into it. That's what I was saying. Number one, the vaccines have been out for over 100 years now, possibly. Because I did a little research on it. You have people that have unprotected. You're obviously having unprotected sex out here if you got to get that many abortions. Number one, with the we listen but we don't judge. Sure. There's all manner of sexual diseases happening because the person that you're laying down with is a risk to your health, but you're worried about a vaccine. The United States Army has a patent and had on marijuana and has decided to weaponize it against the Black community. But you're not afraid to smoke that, but you're afraid to take a vaccine. You're not afraid to shoot dope into your veins and smoke crack, but a vaccine is bad. There's an Israelite out there. I'm not even gonna say his name because I can't remember exactly if it's him. I don't want to say that, but there was an Israelite out there who was arguing with Captain Tazariak, and he smokes crack. The Israelite that was arguing with Captain Tazariak smoked crack. That's crazy. And y'all want to come back and talk to the general about the vaccine and saying he's wrong? Y'all want to say the general was wrong about the vaccine and how he's working with the oppressor? You smoke crack. You have AIDS. You have abortions, and you're worrying about a medicine, a preventative measure to lessen the effects of a disease or a virus that was killing people or unaliving people? So like,
and just a quick point on the vaccine. A black woman created a vaccine. You know what I mean? So they're talking about how vaccines are bad for us, and that government made, a black woman made it to cure us.
Right. Because they're afraid. They're afraid and they're fearful and they're weak. But when it comes to pleasure, they're willing to risk their lives for nothing. Fentanyl is out there.
Yeah.
You fools are taking it. And you're perishing at the hands of the oppressor putting fentanyl in our neighborhoods. But you're afraid of the vaccine. It's this simple. The oppressor put the vaccine out there not only to make money, but to lessen the effects so he can get his slaves back to work. It's simple, people. It's not that serious. Salaki, let's get verse 5 one more time.
I won't come, sir. Matthew 7:5. Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye.
Stop being a cuck.
And then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye.
Then you'll actually see what's actually happening, whether your brother is wrong or not about the vaccine. Instead of saying, out your mouth all types of things that are wrong and possibly blaspheming the Holy Spirit, because speaking as a mouthpiece of the Most High and being in the Spirit is a thing you don't want to come against. That's probably why they're in this situation now.
Absolutely.
Because you blaspheming the Holy Spirit.
Exactly. Nah, you correct on that.
Most High in Christ.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get first. Matter of fact, we'll go back to Exodus 18 and 13, because the point of the scripture, Matthew 7:1, judge not that ye be not judged. That's not telling us not to have judgment over each other and tell us what's right and wrong. That's saying don't be a hypocrite and try to tell your brother what's going on. You can't be out here street speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't them fools, weren't they out there in fitted hats speaking to him?
They was in sneakers and fitted hats.
Like no militancy at all. You out there looking like a regular street, whatever. You out there looking with there ain't nothing wrong with fitted caps. I wear dad hats. I wear fitted caps. I wear bucket hats. But I'm not going to try to speak on behalf of the Most High with something like that on my head. You don't get out of here, man. Let me get Matthew Salaki. Let me get Exodus 18 and 13, if I could. And sis, you got any questions? You too out? I know so.
This is the book of Exodus chapter 18 and 13. And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening. Keep going.
If you could.
14. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone?
So he's asking Moses, why are you judging the people by yourself? Like, this is not going to be too good for the people because it's just you doing it. You look like you was ready to drop something heavy.
No, I was talking to myself.
Oh, no sweat. Go ahead.
From the morning until the evening. Oh, Slakia.
No sweat. And
all the people stand by thee from morning until the evening. And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of God.
So the people need to, how else are you going to get the type of judgment that God wants you to have? Unless you go to the man or men who know the answer and can give you the judgment, tell you whether you're right or wrong, judge a matter, give you the advice. Do you think you can just speak to the clouds and the answer is going to pop up in your head? Do you think you can just hold your Bible in your hands and just flip through the pages and like a lottery, whatever verse that comes to pass is going to be the verse that you need in your life? Is that what we believe is going to happen? That's what you actually think. Continue.
Because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one another.
Was I wrong for getting 8 abortions? Was I wrong for being an adulterer and sleeping with somebody else's wife? That's the type of things that you could have got straight before you even did it, because you could have came to one of the men of the Lord and inquired about it.
Right.
But instead, you took the mentality of we listen, but we don't judge, which is literally the work of Satan. Well, let me get the definition of absolve, since I had brought it out earlier. Let me get that definition. All right. Absolve. It says, set or declare someone free from blame, guilt, or responsibility. You don't want to be responsible for your actions. You don't want to take accountability for the wrong you've done. So you come to people and you say, look, I'm going to tell you what's going on in my life, but don't judge me. When the people around you should go, hold on, sis, you did what? Like you're a walking graveyard. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Like you done teamed up with the Grim Reaper against your own lineage. That's what's happening. Salakia, let's continue.
Oh, come on, sir. This is Exodus chapter 18 and verse 16. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them known the statutes of God and his laws.
You need the men who are equipped with the knowledge of the Most High to tell you by the laws of God what's right and wrong, because this world does not have the answer. It just does not have it. This world is spiraling out of control. This world does not have a system in place that is going to last longer than, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This world doesn't have a system that can actually protect Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So we shouldn't trust them. They don't even know how to treat people that are of their own. One of the things I learned about this oppressor is that they will literally, for money and for pride, do something to Black people that's going to hurt their own. Does anybody know the reason why there's not a healthcare system that's free for everybody in the United States? Does anybody know that?
Because Black people get free healthcare.
They said we don't. That's exactly right. They said we don't want Black people having free healthcare, so we can't give it to everybody. Then they never rectified it and said, you know what? That was racist. Let's fix that. So on a side note, how can you then say the country is not racist if you still have practices that were put in place or systems that were put in place that were directly there to hurt us, and they never rectified it? They never rectified it. Salakia, if I could, let me get verse 16 one more time.
Verse 16. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another, and I do make them known the statutes of God and his laws.
Moses is judging the people. Moses is judging the people based off the laws, the statutes, and commandments. Not some giddy idiot that comes and says, no, you'll be all right, girl. You can have as many abortions as you want. Salakia, so we can further prove our point. Because me and Ka'ash had talked about this before. We brought out this verse. Let me see.
And it's lucky if I could, you know what I mean? And this is also such a toxic saying, because it's getting like, it's really hitting for the younger generation, because it's trendy to say.
Right.
And now these women are giving counsel and getting therapy from each other, and neither one of them know anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? And since they're their own counselor, they're going to give them more destructive information. And like you said before, nobody's going to be held accountable. It's going to be, you know what I mean? They need therapy, really. You know what I mean? Because they serial killers.
That's serial killers. That's the whole truth of the matter right there. Not only what you said was profound, it's actually sad, because when you take counsel of yourself, you end up doing something that you just justify your actions over and over and over again and over again. And people will say, well, it's only when it comes to abortion, it's only a what? What do they say? What do they call the baby?
A stack of cells.
Yeah, like a stack of
Clump of cells.
That's not what the scriptures are saying. The scriptures knew Jacob before he was even born.
Exactly.
The scriptures in Jeremiah 1 and 5 say something completely different than what these people are saying. I'm going to read it. The book of Jeremiah 1 and 5 says, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. The Lord knew you before you were even in the mother's womb. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. He's talking about the Israelites. He's talking about the priests and the prophets of the Most High and the sisters. And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. For all intents and purposes, this sister appears to be an Israelite. She got one of the most important jobs on the planet.
Top tier.
Bringing other Israelites into the world is something that is so important it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And I was trying not to jump around, but let me see. Where did I want to stop with as a matter of fact, let me see. Let's read 16 and let me see. Yeah, we'll come back to 16, but if I could, because the Lord has his own reproductive rights. He doesn't need men to come and say, women have reproductive rights as far as to unalive their own children.
Exactly.
All right.
Right.
If I can get Genesis 1 and 27, if I could, because it's a great thing to have children. Having children should not be a burdensome thing.
Mm-hmm.
When a black man has too many children, they say he's irresponsible. Whether he's rich or poor. Right. When a white man has children, they don't say anything about it. Mm-hmm. Elon Musk has 13, 14, 12 something. Nick Cannon's not allowed to have more than 3 children because he's black. He's black.
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with irresponsibility. That has everything to do with eugenics. They don't want us having more children. They don't want us to have the numbers, just like in Egypt.
Exactly.
They don't want us to be fruitful and multiply like the Most High said.
Right. Talk to me.
If I could, Genesis 1 and 27.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them.
Mm-hmm.
And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
We know what that means.
Exactly.
The Most High said it himself. He said, be fruitful and multiply.
Oh, yeah. And
No. Go ahead. Salaki, go ahead.
And replenish the earth.
And replenish the earth. We are the children of God. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called. Everything I said is so-called. Those are not our God-given names. That's how this oppressor is able to just disrespect us.
Exactly.
You tell somebody that Christ is black. It's like they want to unalive him.
Absolutely.
They get so upset when you say Christ is black, or they say he's olive.
Exactly. All of them got 2 colors.
The Christ ain't no Ninja Turtle. Like, he's not green. Exactly. Like, what? How do we get so simple once it comes to the scriptures, but when it comes to something else, they can do quantum physics or supposedly do quantum physics, but when it comes to something as simple as the scripture saying that he had the feet were like fine brass that were burned in a furnace, which means he was dark skinned. We start to get real stupid. That's how we get Salakia. So we can go right back to, if I could, we'll hold Exodus 18 and 16, because I want to read something. Because the oppressor's reproductive rights are they're rooted in racism. Because if they can get us to stop having children, they've done their job. They've done their job. So while you hold that, I'm gonna go ahead and read about eugenics. Okay. All right, but we'll start, first with the reproductive rights and all of that stuff from 1973. Salakia. All right. It says the right for abortion, which involves reproductive rights, as we know, refers to a woman's legal right to choose to terminate a pregnancy, which was previously established in the United States by the landmark Supreme Court case Roe versus Wade. So the wording says choose to terminate a pregnancy, but a woman has a choice far before that. Exactly. She has a choice to say, you know what? I don't want to have children. I'm not going to get pregnant. Right. There's many things that a woman has the choice to do to make sure that doesn't happen. And the responsible sisters who have, come and known what this oppressor is doing, they can utilize that and they know it. And they'll teach other sisters like, nah, sis, don't listen to this oppressor. You don't have to unalive your child. If you and your man can lay down with each other off of your state of ovulation, you don't have to do it right then and there. Or it's not illegal to use contraceptives, but we shouldn't be in such a burdenous place to where we don't want to have children anyway. If a man and a woman want to have 20 kids, that should be fine. Like, am I alone in thinking that?
They got
20 kids. 20. You a billionaire. What's wrong with 20 kids?
That's something different.
He said that's something different. What about 13 kids?
That works.
13 kids. That's a good thing. I don't want to go too far off, but it pretty much says that in the scriptures that when a father has enemies, those enemies are vexed by his sons. If I got enemies, I want 15, 20 sons. I want my sons to have the spirit of David. Like when David rolled up against Goliath, I want my sons to have that spirit. I want my sons to have my son pounding his chest. We'll see, because I'm gonna put you to the test. But I want my sons to have that spirit. Exactly. My father knows if he has any enemies, they got to deal with Quahal first.
Right.
Why can't we have a system to where we have that type of mentality and we have as many children as we want? We work together. This oppressor makes it hard for you to do what the Most High gave you a God-given right to do. And then we end up making the terrible things sound cool. We listen, but we don't judge. That's terrible. If I'm doing something out of pocket and I don't know it, tell me. I need to be better. I have to be better. I'm trying to make my election damn right. I don't want to be in a place like the rest of the fake Israelite groups. I have to reflect on myself. Like Captain Zaria broke it down so heavy. He said, when you see something like that, reflect and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's why brothers need to, once you get in here, come to class when you can come to class.
All the time.
If you could be out street speaking, go to the street speaking.
Exactly.
If you can do other things, if you can't work, you got to do something to push the work of the Most High so we can get our people out of this hell and out of this mentality of we listen, but we don't judge. Mm-hmm. We can't have brothers still out here sleeping with other brothers' wives.
Right. It's
out of pocket. It's something that's it's not something that's a hard thing to even do.
Exactly. Simple.
Don't do it. If it's something that you need counsel on, go get the counsel. Mm-hmm. Salakia. All right, let me see. We still making good time. All right. So we read about Roe versus Wade. All right. Roe versus Wade And everything about eugenics, Roe versus Wade is kind of tied into eugenics. And the nice definition of eugenics I'll read first to see how they try to trick us. It says eugenics is a set of beliefs and practices that aim to improve the genetic quality of a human population. So now that I gave that, that sounds like, okay, you trying to do stuff to make, the human population good without, issues. But no, what that means is blonde hair, blue eyes, no blacks, no Hispanics, and no Native Americans. Because if this devil has their way, we're either going to be all slaves or we're going to be all unalive. That's the plan. That's the plan that they have for us. Let's read more into eugenics. It says eugenics, the study of how to arrange reproduction with a human population to increase the occurrence of heritable characteristics regarded as desirable. So that whole eugenics thing with the Nazis and Hitler and all of that, that's where Planned Parenthood comes from. So even though some might argue that the woman who started Planned Parenthood is not directly tied to Hitler, she's still a supporter of eugenics, which is tied to the Nazis. She still wants us to get rid of our children. Why? Children can be a joy. We're in such an oppressed place right now, and we've been turned against each other so bad. I saw a woman, a black sister, haymaker a 1-year-old in a stroller.
That's what's crazy.
We can't be in such a low state that we're like animals. We can't be in such a low state that we just fall so short that Christ, if he came back today, he would have nothing to rule over because we're just a bunch of animals that have followed the oppressor. Like, yes, the oppressor has turned us into animals, but at some point we got to come to grips with we can do the right thing by the Most High and get out of this. Like punching a baby in the face because you got an issue with a sister is crazy. Rolling past a crowd of people as a brother and just assaulting people with a deadly weapon is just such a low thing to do. And it's something that the oppressor would do. Exactly. But we want to be so much like the oppressor, we begin to be like that. If I could, I wanted to read this during the class, but it's a little off topic. But one of the things I like about the ISUPK, we're judging right now, right? We're saying, look, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this because I had to find out the things that I was doing in the world was wrong, even though I thought it was right, because our righteousness is filthy rags. Exactly. We can have the righteousness of the Most High, and that's how our wisdom can be shown around the earth. But let me just read this real quick. Let me see. Because I'm online, and I got to defend Black people. Because these devils are just outlandishly disrespectful. So I bring this up sometimes in class. You guys heard about how they cost 13%, right? You ever heard that? Okay. So they'll say that we're 13%, but we commit most of the crimes, which isn't true. What's actually happening is we're arrested for violent crimes, but we're the highest group that's exonerated, which means we were wrongfully arrested in the first place. But let me give you real numbers. All right. 81% of school pews, those are white. Absolutely. 81%. But yet you want to talk about us because the oppressor is the actual devil in the animal. We're just wrong for following. Hold your peace, young man. 57.6% of rapists are white. And then the people involved with child porn are 75% white. And then I saw a disclaimer after they had to give the numbers that had the nerves to say, this doesn't mean that white men are more likely to commit these crimes. Man, please.
It's not even delusion at this point.
Hold your peace. At the end of the day, we have to know these type of things so we can defend ourselves, because politicians that are black, people that are Christians that, you know, try to get all blackety black, they don't ever really pull out the right type of information to defend us. They don't ever point out the fact that the news disproportionately shows black people as criminals. Right. When I walk outside, I don't commit crimes. So I hang out with a whole bunch of people that don't commit crimes. Most of them in the ISUPK. Right. So when you present this to me, it almost makes me think, damn, are black people really committing these crimes? But no, they have an excuse to over police us. They have an excuse to treat us like animals. And we need to have righteous judges over us that can educate us and point us into the right direction. All right, let me get a little bit more back on topic. So like we were at verse 16. So we're talking about judging. If we could start back at verse 16, this is talking about Moses and when he established judges amongst the children of Israel.
Khan, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 16. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them known the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him,
Salaki, can you read the one part one more time about what he said, the laws?
Khan, I do make them known the statutes of God and his laws.
So if that's the basis of your morality, you should be judging. If you're an Israelite, if you're a priest and a prophet, if you're an Israelite and you are able to judge a matter, you should judge it, and this should be based off the laws of the Most High. Exactly. For instance, we're talking about abortion, right? Because even though like my dad and my mom and my wife, they say you don't like children that much. I love children. It's just these new age children, they something else. They something else. They said my rib shaking her head like nah. But nah, the children's something else. I remember a time, this is just a side note. When it came to the adults, if an adult spoke to you, it was like a village. You watched your mouth. The kids nowadays, they're getting smart with you. They Salakia, I ain't gonna go into it. But the kids nowadays, they getting smart. They doing all this stuff. You walk like when we seen an adult back in the day, we knew to kind of tighten up. Man, the kids nowadays, they not really like that. I come outside. These kids, they try to talk to me like they want to know, and I gotta check them, and it irritates me when they do that. Exactly. I can't stand it. I'm not that young. I'm not that young. All right, Salakia. All right. So, what was the guy's name? Was it he had ran for president? What was it? Reverend Jesse Jackson? That was Reverend Jesse Jackson, right? I don't believe so. I believe it was Reverend Jesse Jackson. He had ran for president, or he won. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. My memory is not beyond reproach. Let me see. Let me see. Reverend Jesse Jackson ran for president in 1884. Salakia. In 1984, Jesse Jackson became the second African American to mount a nationwide campaign. So he had ran for president. Before Jesse Jackson ran for president, he was against abortion. Exactly. So that's like a moral thing. But then when he ran for president, he said abortion is okay. When he started becoming involved in politics, he sold out. He lost his morality. We don't need judges like that at all. We need people who won't compromise for money. And because it's been said on camera, I'm going to say it again. When ISUPK was approached by Jewish people with money to stop teaching what we were teaching. They were the way I remember it. So far, I'm good on the memory with Jesse Jackson running for president. So I believe I'm remembering this right. It was close to like $1 million something. Right. Like, look, y'all brothers got to stop doing this. You causing trouble for the Jewish community. Men bringing bags of money, and nobody took. They didn't say, I'm going to stop teaching. No, because the morality of the Most High is worth more than every precious stone, every amount of money, and every single lavish thing in this world is worth way more. That's why King Solomon was able to attain riches, because he asked for the wisdom of the Most High. He gave him more and more and more. But the Reverend Jesse Jackson, he sold out. And because of that, let me read what happens. All right. This is an article. These are not my words. This is from OhioSenate.gov. And I've read this before, but because it pertains to the subject, I want to read it again to get it in our minds. Because here we listen and we do judge. And we do it by the book that the Most High gave us. All right. This says the abortion industry has nefarious roots in hatred and racism. Margaret Sanger, who we've been talking about earlier, who's in all intents and purposes a Nazi, Salakia, let me start that over. Margaret Sanger, the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a eugenicist who systematically targeted inferior races for decades. Inferior in quotation marks, because we know that we're superior. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are going to be above all people because we are the chosen people of the Most High God. All right. She opened her first clinic in a Black neighborhood in Brooklyn. So you ever notice that? Have you ever went to a neighborhood full of like rich lawyers and doctors and seen a Chinese food restaurant? You ever seen that before? Like in the neighborhood? What about a liquor store in the neighborhood? Can a Black person open up a soul food restaurant in Chinatown? No. How is it somebody gets to put something as dastardly and important as an abortion clinic in our neighborhood? Because we don't have judges amongst our people. There was something that happened with the NBA where they wanted to put something in Chinatown. And the people in Chinatown, in America, said, no, we don't want that here. Partially probably because it's associated with Black people. But they don't want that in their neighborhood. We shouldn't want abortion clinics in our neighborhood. If we owned anything, if a Chinese food restaurant is in our neighborhood, they should be paying a Black tax. You are sending money back to China and continuing to bring over your people to open up more restaurants in our neighborhood. You want to make fun of us for fried chicken? Fine. We should own a patent on it. Black, Hispanic, and Native American women cook it the best. I remember, and I'm sorry, I keep side noting, but I remember I went to a powwow, and the food that the Native American people was cooking was banging. Were you there that time?
No, I didn't go.
Man, they had, I can't even remember what it was called, but it was almost like a taco. It was like a taco salad or something. And then there was chicken and all this other stuff. And it reminded me of, the Native American food was like the Black and Hispanic food. And we have all these wonderful things, but because we don't have judges, we don't have people to protect us, in high positions, we get taken advantage of. A man ran for president in 1984, and it didn't even matter because he didn't make it. And he sold out. And because of that, I'm going to read the results of what he did. Since 1973, this predatory industry, Planned Parenthood, has claimed the lives of 20 million Black children in the nation. I've said that number before, but I have to say it again because 20 million is ridiculous. So if it's 1973, there's people that were born in 1973 that are grandparents now, right? So that first generation of people who was taken out could have had children, and their children could begin to have children. So it's not only just the 20 million, because if you take a population of 20 million, there's going to be men and women within that population, right? And they could have had their own lineage. They could have had their own people. I got to do the calculation, but we're missing out on so many other Black people right now being alive because Margaret Sanger, she decided to use pastors and reverends against their own community, and they didn't judge the matter right. How can Reverend Jesse Jackson help us or judge us with anything if he's willing to go down this road and assist in 20 million Black children being unalived in the nation? It says the Black community accounts for just 13% of Ohio's population, because this is an article from Ohio. So we're just 13%. Remember that 13% I said? This is an actual statistic. Yet, according to the Ohio Department of Health in 2022, 48.4% of abortions performed in Ohio were on Black women. That does not include Hispanic women. So if we're only 13%, that's a ridiculous number jump to 48%. But we listen, but we don't judge. No, we should start judging. Sisters, you see a sister doing something wrong in the world, if she asks your advice, you should keep it 100%. Be polite about it. Be sweet as y'all are, but give her the truth. Give her the truth. Point her towards the priests and the prophets of the ISUBK, because I'll be damned if another 20 years go by and we haven't come to the conclusion that it's wrong to take our children to something. And I'm pointing because there's a sign back there, and it's called Planned Parenthood, because that's what it is. We can't 20 years later keep assisting in the plan of an actual eugenicist, which has she's a Nazi. I don't care what anybody says. People say, oh, she's not actually. No, she's a Nazi. She's a Nazi. And she's part of the reason why. How do I word this without getting banned? You know what? I'll say that for another time when I can find the word. Go ahead, sis.
I just want to say, I think what you're saying is so heavy because there's always been a plan to keep our people down or depopulate us.
Right.
And it's even, if you go all the way back to Exodus 1, when our people were multiplying so much that they were like, let us deal wisely with them, unless they take us over.
Right.
And it's like, when you study the Bible and you look at that instant, you're like, how can we not see? Like, how are we so blind? The game has never changed.
Right.
It has always been to do things like your Margaret Sangers or, various things throughout our existence. And so it's just real heavy. But the game hasn't changed, and yet we're still not hip to the fact that this is going on.
That's a heavy point, sis, because that's exactly what they've done. They've done wisely with us. They choose words that sound okay. They're not saying, hey, come on, man, come get rid of your children. Come unalive your children here. They're saying, you have the right, your body, your choice. That's what they're saying. And with that same intent on taking away children from us and their plan for themselves, they will put, what are those clinics called to have children? No.
To have them?
Yes. Because now the oppressor is having trouble having children for whatever reason. I know you don't have the answer. Salaki, yo, that's my son continuing to raise his hand. But what's where they have in vitro and all that good stuff?
Oh, in vitro fertilization?
Right. They have those type of clinics. It's a clinic though. It's called, what's it called?
IVF.
IVF. They have those type of clinics for that, for their people. But for us, they don't have that. They want us to take our children to be, processed and turned into profit, because abortions account for a lot of profits in the medical industry. They do stem cell testing. They do all these things. And off of our children's bodies, they make so much money. I remember there was a story that happened where a truck driver found like a truckload of unalive babies just in a truck. Like 20 million is what's on the books, but it could be so much more. And that 20 million would have multiplied over 52 years. 1973 was 52 years ago.
And that's not speaking to the women who were sterilized without their knowledge. So there's even those.
Absolutely. That was happening in Puerto Rico, to my understanding. They were sterilizing women in Puerto Rico. They're eugenicists, they're racists, they're Nazis. And their practices are, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, their practices are to eliminate us. The Democrats, they use Planned Parenthood. The Republicans, what they'll do is they'll go ahead and say, you know what? The Mexicans, they're having a lot of children, they're flourishing, they work hard. Let's make slaves out of them. Let's do that. Let's go ahead and they may not be going to the clinics as much as the Black people. Let's go ahead and get them out of the country and stop them from producing that way. I want to see how many people, and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the class in a second. I wanted to get through all of that part of Moses of putting the righteous judges amongst Israel, but I think I've made my point with that. Let me see. Let me see if I can get that. 20 million people. Let me see. All right, so I'm gonna have to research it, but it's a large number. I don't want to use this number from this site. All right, but let me see. Where are we? I am going to go to Kaash, if I could. Can you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 2? We get ready to wrap it up. You had something else, sis? That water was on the way?
Yeah.
Salaki, what were you about to say? Was it the 20 million?
No.
Oh, no sweat.
Khan, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 2. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world?
So we are going to judge the world. We're going to listen and we are going to judge. Continue.
And if the world shall be judged by you, and are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matters?
You can't be unworthy to judge the smallest matters. You can't go ahead and say, nah, I'm gonna have to let these people absolve themselves of responsibility. When we're going to judge the entire world, who gets what goes where, whose land is whose. And I can't tell you that you can't go to the clinic. I can't tell you that you can't, sleep with somebody else's wife. So I can go ahead, sis.
How do you respond to giving a judgment to those that are not going to be receptive? Like you say, look, sis, that's not really something that you're supposed to do.
Right.
And now they feel judged.
Right.
And they don't rock with you.
Okay. There's many of ways that you can do that. And one of the ways, I'll just put it in this way, because sometimes that can happen. Sometimes you can take it to counsel. You can take it to counsel, and you can gain a person that way.
Yep.
And then sometimes, that's the point at which you should be able to gain that person. You should be able to gain that person. But the main thing you want to do is tell the truth. You want to give that person like sis, you shouldn't do that, because you don't want their sin on your hands. And if they don't like what's being said, so be it. You did the right thing. You did the right thing. If it's something that's counsel worthy, like, this is strict, I got to take it to counsel. Maybe you can gain that sister.
Well, they're not in the truth.
They're not in the truth. Then it's not on their. It's not on your hands. You told them what was what. It's not on your hands. You remember that verse?
Is it Ezekiel?
Let me see. Let me find
Talking about when it had the lemon in.
Right. Let me get that for you since you asked the question.
That's Ezekiel.
They're not in the truth, but they tell you something and you're like, that's crazy.
Right. You should tell them the truth about what it is. You should say, well, you know, you're wrong in doing that because the Lord said, and then let them know what's up. Let me see. All right. So it's Ezekiel chapter 3 and verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning. So right there, you know, the Most High is letting this person know with the scriptures that the judgment for their sin is death. That's what he's letting them know. He's saying this unto them, but you have to be that mouthpiece sometimes to get that word of the Most High to them. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die. And again, this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 3, verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speak to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood I will require at thine hand. So you see what that's saying, right? Do you? So let's say a person is what's something that I can actually say on camera that's adultery. The person is an adulterer. So let's say a brother's coming to me and he's saying, yeah, man, I've been sleeping with somebody's wife. And then I say, and then I say to him, oh, that's crazy, man. Why are you doing that? Well, the husband is talking about leaving her and she's not happy and this and this. Oh, man. And I don't tell them that sin, the Most High's judgment is going to be death for that. And then they die in their sin. Their blood is on my hands. Let me read verse, I believe it's 19. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 3 and verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way. Yo, bro, you can't be doing that. That's somebody else's wife. You're wrong for that. That's that man's wife. She's saying she's unhappy, but she's still with him. So what are you doing? Even if she is unhappy and he's about to leave her, the Most High said you can't be sleeping with somebody's wife. And then I go to a book, chapter, and verse. I'm telling them what's up.
Even if the person's not married and they don't subscribe to sex is marriage.
Explain that sex is marriage.
Right.
Show them the scriptures.
That's it.
You breaking the law. The morality that you have is based on something that is outside of the Most High. That's how I have to break it down to some people. And let me read the verse and I'll break it down further. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. You still want to tell that person the truth. You want to deliver yourself from being a party to them sinning and dying in their sin and you being held accountable. That's what you want to do. If the person doesn't believe sex is marriage, you can break it down as simple as, so at what point does a person become married? Well, when they go before the pastor and the piece of paper given to them by the judge. Well, where in the Bible does it say that's what you're supposed to do to get married?
They won't find it.
Yeah, they're not going to find that. And then you can give them examples. And if you need examples, you can go to a priest and prophet. I got the examples. I got the examples. You want one? Anybody want an example? No sweat. I'll get you an example.
That's right.
All right. Because you can start to write down, because sex is marriage, right?
Absolutely.
That is what consummates a marriage, right? So if we go to,
Talk about the dictionary, sir.
I appreciate it. Well, yeah, we can get to that one in a second. Let me see. Where do I want to go?
Genesis.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 22 and verse 16 first. Or what was you about to go to? Genesis 24 and 67?
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do that one first. See, Kashi, he got it.
If I could, because I was just talking to a lady about this a couple of days ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because she was talking about how do we get married? You know what I mean? And I was explaining to her like just everything you said.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the ring, the vows, that comes from Esau and the oppressor. So I always pose this question. I always pose this question whenever I'm talking to somebody about sex is marriage. You know what I mean? This is Genesis 24 and 67. And Isaac brought her into his mother's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.
Damn right. If I could.
Go ahead.
It says, and he took Rebekah. He took her. What's that mean? What's that mean, sis? So he took Rebekah. What's that mean?
They got it on.
Ooh wee. They got it on. He took Rebekah, and she became his wife. So when he took Rebekah and she became his wife, where was the ceremony? Where was the ring? Where was the wedding cake?
Inside the tent.
Like all of that popped up as soon as they went in the tent? No.
So
it says she became his wife after he took her. Let me see. Because there's another one, but I want to, we're running out of time. Even though this is scripture breakdown, we could break these down, even though it's a little bit different than. Let me get Exodus chapter. Matter of fact, I'll read it. What are the waters here? Salakia says.
Okay.
Sis, he's going to help you with those waters. All right. So if we go to, let me see. All right, Exodus chapter 22 and 16. If we go to Exodus 22 and 16, it says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed. So in Exodus 22 and 16 is saying, if a man, what's the term that we would use?
Like for what?
For entice a maid.
What does that mean?
Okay, so you're asking a question. All right. Entice a maid would be what you young kids call riz. That's what entice a maid would be. Right? So no, you have your answer, right? So if a man like spits game, we in the old days we call it spitting game.
I thought y'all called it macking.
Macking, whatever. To a maid that is not betrothed. So what does the betrothed mean? She's not betrothed. You know what that means?
She's not like in marriage with someone?
Right. She's not married. She's not engaged. So in order for this to qualify, this is somebody who's convincing a woman to be with him that is not obligated by another man. She's not currently sleeping with a man, and she's not engaged to be with a man or to marry a man. And lie with her. He shall surely endow her to be his wife. So let's break that down. If he lies with her, if he has sex with her, then the endowment comes to where you are supposed to give the father money, right? That was a what's the word I'm looking for? It was a tradition. So when a man wanted to be with a woman, he would go to the father and they would work out what the terms were of the endowment, of the gift to the father. But if he does it without consorting the father first, he still should give the father the money, and then she's becoming his wife still. There was no ceremony, there was no license from the oppressor, and she still became his wife. That's what that's about. So you can use these precepts if somebody asks you, or more safely, you can say, hey, you know what? There's a class that's happening around this time. I'll let the person know. You can ask your question and they'll give you the answer. Because a lot of things can be broken down. This is the Israelite School, Universal and Practical Knowledge. They can be broken down so simple because some people are smart when it comes to the world, but because of philosophy, when it comes to the Bible, it just, the knowledge bounces off their head like a rubber ball. Like you're trying to open their eyes, you're trying to tell them, but it doesn't happen. So the priests and prophets can break it down for them. I know, I see, Salakia. That's a lot of water. The priests and prophets can break it down, and at a certain point, they just don't want to hear it. They want to do what they're supposed to. They want to do what they want to do, but you've absolved yourself. Nah, sis, or nah, brother, you can't do that. That's wrong. That is wrong. How many is it? Okay, come. But you had another question?
I have a question.
Sure.
So after you, like, say they don't want to hear the truth, and do you separate yourself from those people, or do you continue to?
That would be up to you. If the person is living a lifestyle that's contrary to, like, if they're doing like something completely out of pocket, you can separate yourself from it. There's certain family members that we might have that continue to eat pork. I just tell them the truth. I don't eat it around them, and over time they came around. Somebody doing something that's dangerous to you, or somebody that's doing something that's just like, wow, not only are you breaking the laws of the Most High, you breaking the laws of, the oppressor and the devil. If it can get you in some sort of trouble, you should separate yourselves from it. A lot of times, you can get specific counsel on it, but a lot of times, people seeing how you operate in your life and how the Lord is with you. I'll take a water, sis. The water. They'll change their ways. They'll change their ways. If I could, a personal story is the water. My father had asked me about Thanksgiving, why I don't celebrate it, because it wasn't a holiday that was rooted in like another God. It was something that was just man-made. And I explained to him that, it was a celebration of the unaliving of the North American Indians. And I showed him the Bible verses on, where it says, woe to a man that will build a town in blood, I'm paraphrasing, and, establish a city in iniquity. And at first he didn't immediately not have Thanksgiving. But over time, him and my mother stopped celebrating Thanksgiving. Over time, my father, stopped celebrating Christmas and New Year's and things like that. So sometimes them seeing you stay strong, even when they tempt you, that's why you should stay strong. Somebody invites you to a birthday party, you get strong enough, don't go to the birthday party. I don't even get invited to the birthday party anymore. People may forget, because somebody did reach out about my niece's birthday party. It says like, yo, am I going to see you at the birthday party? I was like, nah, brother, what, you forgot I don't celebrate birthday parties? He was like, oh yeah, my bad, I forgot. One of my brother-in-laws had hit me up. But my mother knew not to even invite me to it, because my mother still will do stuff like that, but slowly but surely. So the person, based off of them seeing you do the right thing and you tell them what's right, they might stop that lifestyle. They might stop that lifestyle.
Exactly.
But if I could, I'm gonna go ahead and let me see. All right, now We'll go. Hold on, there might be one more. I'll just give that one to y'all on the side. It's about Leah, Rachel, and what Laban did. That's something I'd have to break down further. When he tricked him. I'll break it down real quick. So he was supposed to get Rachel. Jacob was supposed to get Rachel or Salakia. Who Salakia?
It was Rachel. He gave her Leah.
Right.
Instead.
He was supposed to get Rachel. He got Leah instead. And did they have a ceremony and everything and this and that? Before? Well, anyway, he went in a tent with the wrong sister.
Yeah.
And it still counted as his wife because he slept with her. So that's another way you'll know that sex is marriage. It's not off of word. It's not off of a piece of paper. It's a man and a woman coming together. That's what it is. All right. So let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the class there. There might be a part 2, right? No,
Yeah.
Nah,
maybe.
No sweat. No sweat. Right. To be announced. There might be a part 2 to we listen, but we do judge by Ka'ah. She's still deciding. No, it might not be. He might go to something else, something way more heavy than that. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. We had D-Ray Show in the chat. Shalom Yahaba Hashem Yahweh Shabrakatah. Good to see you, Yakar. Appreciate you tuning in. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass the class over to Priest and Officer God.
This is the ISUPK security announcements. Rules for new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to learn and shed themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, they are to seek counsel from the heads. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3, 8 and 10. Ma'asher means a tenth in Hebrew. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Priest fund is a free will offering for the priest. It's not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like to give. Upcoming holy holidays, the Feast of Purim, that starts March 13th. All right, then after that is Passover. You know what I mean? The most holiest day for the Israelites. You know what I mean? We'll remember the destruction of Esau and the Egyptians. If any brother wants to be a teacher in school, he start wearing black boots, pants, shirt, headband, and scarf. With that, man of Israel will say a mitre, which means to stand. We'll give a courtesy salute. Men of Israel, mitre Shabbat, a mitre, Barak, Yah Ba'ashem Yah Shabrakadam, Yashmatah, hands down. Saw, return and face the sisters. Sisters, a mitre, which means to stand. Men of Israel, we'll give a courtesy salute. Men of Israel, mitre Shabbat, a mitre, Barak, Shamar Yahweh, Yahweh Shamar Adam Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
Salam Yahweh Shamar Elotam Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yashmatah, class.